Hey guys, hope everyone's well. It's your boy MKS again here. Here I am again. um, Thought I'd make this video. My last few videos I've been struggling to think about what to say, but anyway, this title just came to me like probably thought of it before, but anyway. Normally, I say the irony of dyslexic billionaires because normally in the classroom or in society, people say if you're dyslexic or you can't read or write, that it's a negative thing, or basically it's supposed to be just negative or weakness or disability. I do class dyslexia as a disability, but I also say there are many positives or even gifts, if you like, that come with it as well. So I think it's a bit of both. It has its negatives and positives. As someone pointed out in a video I watched recently, if you put "go" in front of disabled, it means God is able. But I don't know if you agree with that. But anyway, sorry. I've read about a few people who are dyslexic who sometimes there's lists of people who are supposedly billionaires who are dyslexic, but they've not necessarily said they're dyslexic, so I don't know where that information's come from. But I like to look at dyslexics in their own words, and I think it'd be great to have like a list of all the dyslexic people who are billionaires around the world. I think that'd be quite an interesting list. And a while back, I thought of an idea for Forbes, who normally do lists about billionaires or rich lists. So I thought it'd be quite interesting to see if they did one for different backgrounds, such as dyslexics, especially. Although I probably should copyright that idea, but yeah, like Richard Branson is a billionaire, and he said he's dyslexic. Charles Schwab is a billionaire, he's dyslexic. Craig McCall, he has several billion, and he's dyslexic. John Chambers, I think he's a billionaire, but I'm not 100% sure. The late Ingvar Kamprad, I'm pretty sure people said he's dyslexic, and he was a billionaire. Same with Steve Jobs, many others. So I think it'd be interesting. I'm sure there are many others, which are perhaps not as well known, but to inspire kids especially, I think it'd be quite interesting if they had like a curriculum that they could teach dyslexic kids. I've even thought of like making independent schools for kids with learning disabilities, if I could, like where perhaps the curriculum would be made by successful dyslexics, if you like, depending on how you define success, like financially successful in their chosen fields. And I think like working on the strengths, like dyslexic people those children will be much more confident and things like that. And I actually think they'd probably be better than mainstream schools as well, because I think a lot of stuff you learn, I'm not a big fan of academia, because I think a lot of stuff you learn is not really, it's probably quite trivial. It's not really stuff that you would probably really, a lot of it's probably stuff you don't really use outside of academia. Like if someone said to me I should join a course, I'd probably ask if I had the guts, if I had a spine, I'd probably ask, where am I going to use this information, if you like, in the real world or outside of academia? And if they couldn't give me the answer to that, or they didn't want to give me the answer, I'd probably be like, why would I join this course? Because to sell that course to me, so to speak. Because in many ways, if you look at it, academia is a business, really. It's a state-run business, but it's still kind of a business. So, like, you look at it now, a lot of courses you have to pay to go onto. So, I probably want to know I don't think it'd be unfair to ask the person who's running the course, what am I going to get out of this? But anyway, so sorry, I've gone off track a bit. But so I thought it'd be interesting, like, to see a list of famous of dyslexic people who are like billionaires, because billionaires are, I know it's like quite superficial, if you like, or capitalistic or whatever to see billionaires. But I think it's like they're they're the wealthiest people in the world, and it's like kind of they're often seen as the pinnacle of society. So even though I want to be a philanthropist, and most of my money I want to give away, but if I make money, but I just think it'd be quite interesting to see that list and how it would inspire other people with dyslexia. So I'm not meaning like money. I'm not saying that money is everything, but I just think that list would be quite. To me, it would be quite interesting. I don't know what other people think, but especially I don't know what non-dyslexic people think, or even other dyslexic people think about that list. If there's a list of however many dyslexic billionaires there were in the world, and even like a dyslexic rich list. And I mean, I think Forbes have a lot of information when they talk about the stories of people. I don't always read that much of it, but when they talk about the stories of a lot of people, they do mention that quite a few of them are dyslexic. So I think it'd be quite interesting to see, because there's been research on dyslexic people who are millionaires, mere millionaires, as I say, but because it's hard to imagine, like many people can't even imagine what it's like to be a millionaire, let alone obviously a billionaire. But and obviously they have very unique lifestyles. Like in the whole world, there's about 1,000 billionaires apparently, but I think that's dollar billionaires. But anyway, sorry. So it's hard to imagine what their life would be like. But lost my train of thought. Sorry. I think it'd be interesting to see. Sorry, there was research about dyslexic millionaires, and it said like 20% of UK self-made millionaires are dyslexic, and 35% of US self-made millionaires are supposedly dyslexic, according to the research. So I think it'd be quite interesting to see what percentage, if they could do the same something similar with billionaires, and see what percentage of billionaires are dyslexic. Like I said, I don't mean to be too capitalistic or too not like in a greedy way. I would just find that list really interesting. As I say, I don't know what other people think about that, but like Forbes list of dyslexic billionaires. And I suppose if you're a kid in a classroom and you got low self-esteem and you hear like about billionaires who are dyslexic, maybe that could give you a lot of confidence. Like when I was at school, I wonder if I heard about famous people who are dyslexic, or like even really rich people, billionaires, people, whether that would have given me much more confidence, especially if there were so many of them as well. Because like if there's one or two, you could say, oh, that's just a fluke, or that's an exception. But if there's so many, you say, oh, maybe there's some strengths that we actually have that non-dyslexic people don't necessarily have. So I mean, quite a few dyslexics have actually said their dyslexia actually helped them to achieve success, like Richard Branson said that, and David Neeleman of JetBlue Airlines in America. And there are probably many others who said their dyslexia actually played a role in their success, because they had to think differently or things like that. And a question a lot of people ask is it like genetic? Is it natural? Are they successful because they're dyslexic, or is it in spite of the fact they're dyslexic? So considering dyslexia is seen as a weakness, a disability, or even a curse, I think it's really interesting to see some of the richest and most powerful people, if you like, are dyslexic. So I'd love to hear what other people think, especially dyslexic people themselves. Like, do these lists inspire you, or would you be inspired if you heard about billionaires who are dyslexic, as well as other people, perhaps who are top of their field, like Steven Spielberg, who's I think also a billionaire, but he's one of the top film producers as well. So if you wanted to be a film director or producer or whatever, someone like that could inspire you. So I really hope that I can receive some comments from dyslexic people themselves, especially billionaires. I might be dreaming, but anyway, dyslexic people, to see what they think about these lists. Because when I first sort of heard about these lists or read about them, I was like really excited. I thought they're really interesting, especially when I used to want to make loads of money. And that's why I came up with a dream to, the idea and a dream to make a network for dyslexics who happen to be billionaires. And now I love those people to set up their own entrepreneurial schools across Asia and Africa for dyslexics in those countries. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm probably going to go sleep soon. So peace and love, guys. Love you. Good night.